Welcome to the Explainer. You've probably heard the term B-BBEE 1,000 times, but have you ever stopped to ask what that scorecard is actually measuring? Well, today, we're going to cut right through all the complexity. We're breaking down the 5 key pillars that are at the very heart of South Africa's economic transformation policy. All right, so let's get right into it. If you really want to get what B-BBEE is all about, you've got to look past that big, long acronym. We're going to look at the 5 key areas that actually make up a company's scorecard. Think of it as a way to measure a company's real-world impact on transformation. So what's the big idea behind it all? Well, at its very core, the policy was created to tackle the deep-seated economic inequalities left over from South Africa's past. The whole goal is to build an economy that's more inclusive, more equitable, an economy where everyone has a real shot at participating. And the way it does this is with a scorecard. The best way to think about it is like a total health check for a company's role in economic transformation. It's not just some single, simple number. Nope, it's a really detailed look at pretty much everything, from who owns the company and who's leading it, all the way to skills and community impact. And here we go. This chart right here, it basically lays out our entire explainer for us. These are the 5 pillars we're about to jump into. But, look closely. You could already spot something really important. They are definitely not all weighted the same. Some carry way more points than others.
Okay, so first up, let's talk about the top. The first 2 pillars are all about the structure and leadership of a company. Basically, who's holding the power and who's making the big calls.
And that brings us to ownership. This one's a big deal, a real cornerstone of the scorecard. It's worth a solid 25 points, and it gets right to a fundamental question. When a business creates wealth, who actually gets to benefit from it? Now, here's the crucial part. This isn't just about who owns shares on paper. Not at all. The scorecard is designed to look much deeper than that. It's measuring genuine influence, real voting rights, and making sure that Black shareholders are seeing actual economic benefits, like dividends. It's about making sure that ownership is real, that it's not just tied up in some complicated debt structure. All right, so from who owns the business, we move to who runs it. And that's the next pillar, management control. This one accounts for 19 points on the scorecard. Yeah, exactly. So if ownership is about, ownership, management control is all about who's actually steering the ship. It looks at the diversity of the team that's making those big strategic decisions and running things day to day. We're talking everyone from the board of directors right down through all levels of management. Okay, so we've covered who owns and runs the business. Now let's shift gears a bit and look at how a company invests in its people. This is all about human capital. And this brings us to skills development, another really significant pillar, worth 20 points. The whole idea here is to directly tackle that historical skills gap and, build a more capable, more competitive workforce for the future. So what does it measure? Well, it's all about how much a company is spending on accredited training to upskill its Black employees. But, and this is a huge but, it comes with a critical, non-negotiable rule. You have to submit your annual training plans to your industry's SETA. If you don't do that, you get 0. That's right, a big fat 0 for this entire section, no matter how much money you spent on training. It is the absolute key to unlocking any points here. All right, so far we've looked inside the company. Now let's look at a company's impact on the world outside its own 4 walls, specifically its supply chain and the wider economy. And this is where we get to the absolute heavyweight of the entire scorecard. I'm talking about enterprise and supplier development. Get this, it's worth a massive 40 points. Just look at this chart for a second. It shows you everything you need to know. That bar is dramatically taller than the others, right? That's because its weighting is almost double most of the others. And that tells you there's a really clear focus here on creating a kind of multiplier effect, using big companies' spending power to transform the entire economic ecosystem. When you boil it all down, this pillar is really asking 2 simple but powerful questions. First, who do you buy from? And second, who are you helping to grow? It's all about pushing companies to buy from B-BBEE compliant suppliers, especially smaller Black-owned ones, and to actually invest in helping those smaller businesses to succeed. Okay, and that brings us to our final pillar, Socio-Economic Development. Now, you'll see it's only worth 5 points, which is much smaller than the others, but it still plays a really important role in direct community upliftment. And let's be clear, this is not about just writing a check for charity. It's much more specific. The focus is on empowerment. It's about contributions to projects that actually help people generate a sustainable income for themselves. Think funding a community food garden that can then go on and sell its produce. That's the kind of thing we're talking about. So after all that, you might be thinking, okay, I get it. I can just pick and choose where I get my points from to hit my target. Well, not so fast. There's a really important catch, a critical rule you absolutely have to know about. See, to stop companies from just, points shopping, picking the easy stuff and ignoring the harder, more important areas, the government designated 3 of these pillars as priority elements. For larger companies, these are basically non-negotiable. And what are they? Well, it's ownership, specifically a part of it called net value, which makes sure the ownership is real and not just a mountain of debt. Then it's skills development, and finally, the big one, enterprise and supplier development. The rule is simple. A large company must score at least 40% of the available points in each of those 3 areas. It's a hard and fast threshold. Okay, so what happens if you miss one? Let's walk through an example. Check this out. Let's say your company does pretty well. You score 78 points overall. That's a good score. It's enough to get you a B-BBEE level 4, which is a solid result. But, and it's a big but, you missed that 40% target for skills development. What happens? The discounting principle kicks in, and boom, your final B-BBEE level gets automatically dropped by 1. So that great level 4 you earned, it's now a level 5. It's a serious penalty, and it's there to make sure companies take all 3 priority areas seriously. So what's the big takeaway here? It's that B-BBEE is absolutely not a simple checklist you can just tick off. It's a holistic scorecard. It's designed to push for real strategic change across the entire business. You've got the 5 pillars, looking at leadership, people, and external impact, and it all has to work together. Especially because, as we just saw, ignoring those priority elements comes with a heavy penalty. And that leaves us with a pretty big question to think about. This framework is so essential to South Africa's economic policy. But as the economy evolves, you have to wonder, how might these 5 pillars need to change? How will they adapt to drive the next wave of transformation? Especially with big challenges like the digital economy and the green transition. Answering that is probably key to understanding where business in this country is headed next.
Do not forget to like and subscribe for more videos like this.